Hi, my name is Jason Martinez, and I'm giving you a very brief view/tour of one side of Leeper Lake, just north of the Texas-Oklahoma border. I'm going to take a few minutes just to show you a few of the vegetation samples that are down near the shore, and maybe see a few interesting insects on the way. You can see from here the water that's creeping up underneath some of this vegetation. We've got some wild lotus blossoms also, the pretty yellow flowers. We'll get a closer look at those when we walk up closer to the water. It's really a very pretty place. If I would have brought some better shoes, we could have walked down into the water a little bit, but my sneakers wouldn't be so good for that. Got a lot of different butterfly species, a lot of different honeybees and bumblebees that you might be able to see. It's definitely very overcast today. Not sure exactly what the temperature is, but I don't think it's probably any higher than maybe 85 degrees, which in the Oklahoma, Texas speak is very, very mild for July the 27th, which is today's date. Let's see, where's that little inlet that I walked through earlier? Now, here's a really beautiful monarch. Wish we could have gotten a little bit closer. Monarch butterflies are just about the coolest. This is really a fascinating story on how far their trip is from Canada down to Mexico, which is their migratory pattern. Got our monarch there. Here we've got a nice close shot of this. Got our honeybee hanging out right next door. Leave those guys alone. Oop, there he goes. Wish I had a little field guide with me to be able to better explain some of this plant life that we're looking at. There's a lot of the wild lotus. There's a lot of hibiscus also that you can see out there. The really pretty white flowers. There's not quite as many of those as there are the lotus. So this entire area is very, very thick with vegetation. Went to a location earlier that was very, very dense, had a natural spring bubbling out of the ground. Might be able to see in the background, in the distance, we've got a casino. Not quite as natural to the environment, but just as fun depending on your mood, I guess. Here's a really, really pretty lotus. It's absolutely beautiful. You can see the center portion of the flower that's starting to come out. See if we can explain this. We'll move back to this one here in a second. Let's see. If you look at the buds of the lotus there that are still very tight, those have formed as the stem came out of the ground. And those will open up into the yellow flowers. Here's a good example of one that's pretty freshly opened. This yellow one here. There's a very young bud there. It's coming out of the ground. See, it's very wet. Then they'll come out and form that flower. These flowers will open up, and as they open up, the reproductive portions of the flower will start to become more noticeable and will protrude from the center portion of the petals. And as they do so, they will develop into this seed poddling formation that you can see there. And that we're looking at, there's one, here's some that are, this is a more advanced view of what the seed poddling looks like. This is closer to what it'll look like after the, you can still see the flower petals holding on to the outside of that are dying off and falling away. Goes from that, makes its way into a very advanced blossoming flower. This one, before too long, will probably look very similarly to this. And then this guy is the one that will open up, and then you can see inside the seeds that are ready to fall out and begin the process all over again before too long. See if we can get another view of some of these. Look, you can see one that's very, very close to being ready to drop its seeds. Some of them might have already fallen out. See back there. Interesting insect. Absolutely tons of honeybees. I can hear the buzzing all through this area. There you go. You can see the beginnings of those seeds forming there. This guy should be turning a little bit more upright before too long, so the seeds can finish developing before they fall. This is another advanced stage in the blossoming process. Those petals will probably be falling off pretty quickly. It's an absolutely beautiful location. This is an ideal place to bring students or anyone who's interested in the botany and just ecology of this area north of Gainesville, right along the Texas-Oklahoma border. We're actually in Oklahoma right now. And then so, anyway, the final step there, you can see a couple more examples of the seed poddlings, is, like I said, the seed droppings will just come right out, and I've got a few of those in my pocket actually. There you go, they just fall right out. Hello, Mr. Honeybee. And so yeah, it's a really cool process. This is a really cool place. And I'd like to be able to grab one of those to show a little bit closer what they look like. Here's one that's getting pretty close to the point where they're going to drop. Probably still has a little bit more time to go. You can see that greenery in the middle. Some of the ones that look like they're about ready to release the seeds look a little darker, like those two. This one here is right in a good spot to take a look at. Very interesting to notice the development. So anyway, that's a quick tour of this area, a quick explanation of how those wild lotus operate, and a quick view of this area that we were lucky enough to check out today. And that's all for now.